Hello everyone. Another night in Australia with another Microsoft Hero community session. My name is Priya, Microsoft Security MVP, MCT, and Community Leader in Microsoft Hero. Before having our great speaker tonight on the stage, I would like actually to go to the same as routine that we have always for different sessions, get you through a couple of actually points about the Microsoft Learn and Code of Conduct of the community. And then definitely we're going to have our great speaker on the stage. So give me a sec. I'm adding my slides up. So very short and sharp, Microsoft Learn community is the perfect place to grow your skills, connect with Microsoft experts, and get real support on your learning journey. So don't miss it out. There's a lot of content there which you can grow, and you learn a lot of topics in the context of the Microsoft solutions and services. So I'm totally sure you are aware of the Microsoft tech communities, as we mentioned a couple of times before. So you definitely can find the Microsoft Hero community on the tech community there as well. So a bit of code of conduct. So the same as other communities. So please, we ask everyone to be friendly and respectful to one another, listen to different opinions, and be kind and patient when you're asking or answering the questions. So without further delay, I would love actually to have Arafat on the stage shortly. So we are very pleased to have tonight a senior AI leader, Microsoft MVP in AI category, and solution architect with over 15 years of hands-on experience building enterprise software. So please join me in welcoming Arafat on the stage, who will present us a hot topic these days, which is Agentic AI with Semantic Kernel. So Arafat, great to have you tonight here. How are you?
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm really good. Very excited to be here after so long.
Thank you so much for being here and sharing your knowledge with everyone in the community. That's very grateful to have you tonight here. So I get actually your slides up, and I will be behind of the stage if you need me for anything.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks all. Thank you, everyone. You can see that I am on my single screen, unfortunately, so I may not be able to see the chat window. I'll try to do that by stop sharing my screen. So I may not be able to see anything, whatever is going on behind the scenes. In fact, before I do, I would like to close a few things of mine. Okay, so because
I keep you across that in case someone just asking some questions in the chat, I'll let you know.
Yeah, please. And so just as a housekeeping, I'll try to answer everybody's questions. I have got enough time to answer everybody's questions. And don't worry, like I'll definitely help you out. So a little bit of context first about myself, and an intro, and then we'll talk about the topic itself. So this is one of the first sessions you might be seeing where you may not see any slide. So this is my slide. I'll bring it up. That's my intro slide. My name is Arafat Tehsin. I'm also one of the Microsoft MVP for Artificial Intelligence. This is my 7th year being in the program. I'm really honored to be a part of fantastic community who would love to share their technical skills. I have been into Microsoft Learn community for a very long time. It's just that sometimes I get a chance to host, sometimes I get a chance to be a guest of it. If you are interested in learning about what I do on my day-to-day job, so I run my own a little bit of startup capability where I do AI consulting, and also I'm an AI advisor for a few Australian and New Zealand startups. If you want to learn more about like what I have been writing about and what I've been exploring with or experimenting with, you can check out my blog. In addition to this, I would really appreciate if you would like to connect with me. Happy for you to send me a request or connect with me on LinkedIn. Or if you've got any questions, concerns, you can email me. That's my email address as well. I'll be pasting this in the chat at the end, so don't worry about it. Whatever I'm going to show you tonight is 100% going to be available to you. So you are not going to miss out anything, whatever I'm going to show you, except for the very, very last bit, which I will not be able to share for now. However, let's stick till the end. So the topic was mainly around building agentic applications with semantic kernel. This talk I submitted few months back, and you know how technology is going these days or growing these days. It is going with a very, very fast pace, and everything gets changed. So a little bit of disclaimer of what I have submitted and what I signed up for and what I will be showing over here. So it is changing every day as we are seeing. We have seen in Microsoft Build, there have been a lot of agentic sessions, or the sessions with infused by so many agents, whether it is in Power Platform, whether it is in Dynamics, whether it is in SharePoint, whether it is in Microsoft 365, or primarily, or you can say the predominantly, it was in Azure OpenAI. It was Azure AI Foundry. So now Microsoft gave us has given us a hint over there at Build when we were watching sessions, specifically the semantic kernel session, where Sean Henry, one of the Microsoft uh, principal product and I think program manager as well, that he mentioned that Microsoft is now thinking to to connect semantic kernel and autogen as a framework. So they are already share a shared runtime. So now what they are trying to do is they are they talked about that Microsoft is thinking in that manner. However, this does not mean that semantic kernel is not progressing or autogen is not progressing. I'm talking about specifically around semantic kernel. So a lot of things in semantic kernel, if you go now in semantic kernel's repo, you could easily see that there have been a lot of changes coming up, as in A2A support and other stuff. But in addition to this as well, they are working on something bigger as well. Now, in addition to all of this, what I've spoken about, and this was necessary for me to build this, you can say, a scene over here, because what I will show you over here as a part of these demos, I'll talk about semantic kernel from very basics, and then we will go from very basic to the very advanced stuff as well. And in addition to this, as a bonus of this session, because there is no slide, so we have enough to talk about, and it does not mean that I'll skip the concepts. So I'll talk about the concepts as well, but I'll show you the agent, A2A agent capabilities as well, and how you can build those things yourself as well. As I promised that whatever I will show you, I will share all of that as well. So keep your thinking or question hats always on. If you have got any questions, please feel free to write it down. I'll try to take it at the end. Or if we have got any questions, I'll try to answer as we move along as well. So let's talk about the basics of semantic kernel, since I don't have a chat window open on my end, but I assume that most of you may be aware of what semantic kernel is. And for those who are not aware, so let's talk about a little bit of intro, and then we'll get into the semantic kernel's basics. So in fact, before that, let's talk about a little bit of Microsoft's agentic spectrum. We have seen there are many ways to create agents. So for example, You have got agent builder within your Microsoft Teams. You have got Microsoft Copilot Studio, which is a very fantastic product and a SaaS offering for building Copilot agents. And it has got a lot of capabilities from multi-agent orchestration to MCP and to many other things as well, right? And then we have got a pro code capability, which we are calling as semantic kernel. But in addition to semantic kernel, there are other frameworks as well. For example, Autogen, for example, Microsoft 365 Agents SDK, and Microsoft Teams AI Toolkit. What are these, and why Microsoft is investing heavily in all of these things as well? So you consider all of these frameworks right for the right tasks. For example, if I have to create an application just for my teams, or I have to create an agent just for my teams client, my preference would be the Microsoft AI Teams Toolkit. If I have to create agents for the Copilot Studio agent, and I want to also surface it to the channels which are not supported with Copilot Studio agents by default or out of the box, then I might want to use 365 Agents Toolkit. If I'm going to just create the agents which are going to be used within Microsoft SharePoint, within Microsoft the 365 ecosystem, then Copilot Studio is the best platform for this. And if I have to do some really pro code or controlled version of my agentic ecosystem, then I would go for a pro code approach and start using Azure AI Foundry capabilities, primarily with Azure AI Foundry Agent Service or Semantic Kernel or Autogen. Now, Autogen is basically has always been a research project. Semantic Kernel, on the other hand, has been an enterprise grade Microsoft framework. So I work a lot with the customers directly, and the reason why you are just seeing my one screen, because I don't have second screen, and the reason why I don't have second screen, because I'm right now not in Sydney, rather I'm in Canberra. I had to come to a business trip over here, and I realized this morning that, oh, I have got to talk. So after engaging with a lot of customers, having dozens of client conversations, we have come to a conclusion that Semantic Kernel is really a very good framework, and we have been doing this for a while now. So I thought, then why not I show you all of these, what I'm talking about. So the need for Semantic Kernel is that, for example, you have got a basic knowledge of OpenAI APIs or any other OpenAI-like APIs. For example, you might have a knowledge of Google AI Studio, or you might have a knowledge of Anthropic's Claude, right? The way to consume all of these APIs are very similar, if not same, and you might want to build your own agentic applications. For example, you might want to build an EDM generator or the marketing campaign generator, and within that marketing campaign generator, you might want to have one or more agents with you. Now, for you to have one or more agents, it can become cumbersome when you start injecting or when you start integrating a lot of resources or a lot of services. So, for example, your marketing agent or marketing campaign generator can have an agent to generate a content, can have an agent to generate a content based upon the weather, because you might have, for example, or you might have a brand for the ice cream or for the juice. So you might want to bring that weather into the discussion as well, because like, hey, it's cold, so why don't you have this? Hey, it's hot, why don't you have this kind of product? So for you to integrate with weather API, you will have to write your own API, and then you will tomorrow you will start integrating it with other system, and then you will have to write your own API. So by integrating other services or multiple kind of services, you will end up having a middleware of yourself. This means that this middleware will be very good, but again, this will have some issues because you are writing it yourself, and every other service has got their own service contracts. This is where MCP servers also come into play, right? However, MCP server is basically the capability to expose those services as a tool, but you need an agentic capability to use those tools. This is where semantic kernel comes into play. All right, enough talking and enough of this just empty Visual Studio Code screen. So you see over here, this is my semantic kernel for developers. So I'm going to show everything around C Sharp, and whatever I'm going to show you around C Sharp can 100% be done in Python. Can it be done in Node? I'm a JS developer, I'm a React developer. How can I upskill myself, or how can I have an alternate to that? I don't want to learn C Sharp. This may be a question in your head. So my recommendation to you would be that if that's fine if you don't want to use C Sharp, but you need to learn either of these languages, which are back end languages, you would say, or you can say that the languages which are quite useful within this AI spectrum, and Python is one of them, and Python I think is number one in them. So my suggestion would be that yes, while there are frameworks that can enable you to infuse AI into your applications using React or Node, I would highly recommend you to start using Python and learning Python if you have not. And honestly, you don't need a lot of learning curve to do that. If you are a developer, it's going to be super easy for you. And if you are not a developer, I would highly encourage you to start with Python. The reason why I'm always encouraging to learn code is because if you know how to code, you will use AI much better than the person who does not know code. And even if you are a champion of no code, I can guarantee you that a person who knows how to code can still write a better no code application, because the way their brain starts functioning. And this is not a competition of no code versus low code. Every skill has got their own capability and you can say capability to execute something, and learning to code is really efficient and a very good skill to have. All right, so now what we are trying to do here, those who don't know what is Jupyter Notebook or Polyglot Notebook. So I'm using Polyglot Notebook. I'm using Visual Studio Code over here. I've got a bunch of extensions which I will show later on. Uh, Primarily, I am using Polyglot Notebook. What it does, it allows you, and why it is different than Jupyter Notebook. So it is not different. It's just built on top of Jupyter Notebook. And the reason why we have this capability is because we then can have multiple languages within just one notebook, which in Jupyter Notebook you can't do. So I'm running C Sharp over here. You can see I've run just Microsoft test check 1 2 3. Over here I'm just loading whatever is there in my settings file, which is my OpenAI key and all that stuff. Now I'm over here coming here, and this, as I said, that this discussion, whatever I've explained you about is written over here, so I won't get into the details, but I'll share this all of this with you so you can run it. Now what I'm trying to do is over here is that I'm going to load the semantic kernel. So this one will download semantic kernel, and then I'll try to create a kernel. based upon the details which I have. For example, I've got my Azure OpenAI model, Azure OpenAI endpoint. I'll be using Azure OpenAI rather than OpenAI, but this works with OpenAI as well. So what I'm going to do is now I'm trying to get two packages. One is plugins core and one semantic kernel. And I'm using the latest available model. So you can see, latest available package in NuGet, which means that it has got 1.64 as the version. And I'm also using plugin core, which is 1.64 dash preview. Now, there are a few concepts in AI plugins and prompts. You can consider plugins as exactly as the MCP tools, but we'll talk about that later on at the end. If you have got any questions or concerns, just if you have worked with MCP tooling, if you have not, that's okay, that's fine, no problem about it. But what you do in your semantic, in MCP tooling, that whatever is your method, you just you put a declarative over there over your method as MCP tool. Over here, you also put something similar called kernel function. We'll see that in a bit. So what AI plugins do is that, for example, you have got capabilities like I said, I talked about weather, and you have got capability of, for example, finding out the flight details. So now, if I write to a chat application that, hey, I want to know the weather of Sydney. So if your method has got that declarative and it takes a parameter, the LLM will work out which method to call and what parameter to be sent. So this is really good, and I'll show you in action in a bit. And then we have got similar
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of.
but
Yeah.
there's one actually asking in the chat, which I'll bring it on the screen. You can see that.
Yeah.
So there is someone just requesting we do financial reporting and financial modeling, variance analysis for different data sets, also trend analysis from the historical data. If you can cover this, that
All right.
that would be helpful as part of your explanation. Thank you.
No problem at all. I will try to cover this as well. So just hold on. I'll share my screen again because I had to just, and now I'll share it again. Apologies, this is going to happen for a bit of time, but now we have got another prompts as well. And after explaining this concept, I'll go very fast, so don't worry about it. And I'll try to cover the financial aspect as well, like how you can use and all that stuff at the end as well. Luckily, I have got something in my demo, so I think it will be helping you a lot. So prompts are the similar kind of stuff, but you just provide as a part of prompt, not as a part of code. And when you are providing as a part of code, it becomes native functions. I'm going to leave all of this description for you. You can definitely read it later on. But since we are conscious of time as well, so I'll move a little bit further and I'll try to explain my code. So you must have seen that on the top, we have just created a kernel over here, right? And now what we are trying to do is we will build the kernel over here, and then we will try to load a plugin. So what this plugin does, if I go, I have got a city plugin, and then we have got a city plugin. So if I go to city plugin, this has got two files. One is the description config file, which says gets the capital name of the city, and it has got a few execution settings. And then it has got input variables, which means that I have to provide an input. And in the escape prompt, it says that tell me a capital city of the country below. So which means that I'm not sending any prompt. I'm just going to provide an input and call this plugin, and it knows what it needs to return back, right? So if I load this, so now I'm going to load this plugin into my kernel. It has been loaded, as you see over here, a little bit success. Now, if I say input as Australia, you know what it will give? It will give us a capital of this country, because if you go to the city, so if you go to the prompt, it says tell me a capital city of country below, and I'm providing it as an input. And within my input, it takes an input and says, it sends all of this information to LLM, and this is the description that this is a country name, and then it provides you the information back. So for example, now if I run it, it will say Canberra. We can change it. For example, if I come over here and if I change it to Malaysia, and it will just go and start giving me the capital. So it's a little bit of game which you can build yourself, and I've done the similar. So I've got another plugin called Guess plugin, and in this Guess plugin I have got Guess riddle. So what I do is I'm loading this plugin. So let me load this plugin, and then I'll try to get the riddle. So I'm asking in my riddle prompt is ask a riddle with its answer below in a JSON format. So this is my JSON format, and I'm asking it. And then I said that gets the riddle in it with its answer. So this is just a configuration. This is a escape prompt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run this, and you will see that it will generate a JSON with a question and answer. What has keys that can't open the locks? And the answer is piano. So I can hide the answer piano, and then you can build a similar kind of game as well. If you are interested, I can show you some things. So you can see, guess what, semantic kernel. This is the game which I built a few uh, like earlier. It must have a YouTube video as well, and definitely you can go and start looking at it. Like if you start searching for it, you will find it. So it has got a YouTube video, but conscious of time again, so I'm just coming back now. Everything which I have shown you was in file. We don't want file. We want something in memory as well, because of mobile applications or web applications. They can't just read files. So you can do everything whatever I have shown in memory as well. So you can see that everything is going in the memory, and it this time I'm just giving the question, like I'm just printing the question. But if I want, I can also print the answer over here as well. If I come over here and say that, for example, console.writeLine and answer, and if I run it again, you will see that it gives me an answer as well, right? So, and I can change whatever I want to over here, like vegetable and fruit, and it will give me a fruit riddle. So this is just a game which you can build for the gamification, and it will build. Now, you can also do the same by generating images as well. So for example, I'll come over here, I'll add Australia. This code generates an image using DALL-E 3. We could use GPT image 1 as well, so that's not a problem. You just have to change the model. What it will do, it will try to generate an image. So you can see Guess plugin. What Guess plugin is doing, that it takes, I'm opening up my Guess plugin, and it goes to guess what. So in my guess what, I say choose a landmark in a big city within whatever I'm providing. For example, Australia. Remember that it has to be a famous, that whatever I'm providing, Australia has to be in terms of history, culture, tourism. So it will generate some image. Now it has generated the image of Opera House. Now what it is trying to do over here is, I have generated the description and kept it with me over here. And what I'm going to do now, that you can read this description later on. What I'm going to do now is, I have already put my description in my variable, and I'm going to ask what is this image about. So it will ask me what is this image about over here. And if I say Harbor Bridge, which is not the case, so what it is going to do, it is going to generate, take my Harbor Bridge answer, and it will take the description of it, and it will generate embeddings, and it will try to match the cosine similarity. And that's how your RAG operation works behind the scenes. So this is just a concept to learn. Now we have got something called function calling. I'm trying to now give a lot of plugins to my same kernel, right? I've given time plugin, conversation summary plugin, food plugin, shopping plugin. Now what are food plugin, shopping plugin? Very quickly, let's go to the food plugin. Has got two functions: get options, get recipe. In the get options, you suggest a food option for the dietary requirements. In the recipe, you provide a recipe for the food. In the shopping one, you provide a grocery list for the input. Now, if I try to say that this is my food recipe, I want to have a Malaysian food recipe using my plugin, which is get recipe, what it will do, it will try to give me the whole food recipe of the Malaysian food, because my plugin is get recipe, and get recipe was all about this. Now it has given me the recipe of whole food. Now I want to generate a grocery list out of it. So you can see now I will take this answer, food recipe result value, and provide it to my shopping plugin. And what it will do, it will generate a grocery list out of it. So now if I take both of them and create a single prompt, now it has given me grocery list, right? Now, if I take a whole prompt and I say, my friend is coming from China, he wants to have Chinese cuisine in the dinner, please suggest us a Chinese dish for dinner, as well as the grocery list for the same, and all of that stuff. And now, what I will do, I will just run this. So you can see that I have cloned the kernel, which means it has got exactly same set of plugins with me. And now it is going to generate the whole plan. So sometimes it takes time because it is doing a lot of things behind the scenes, but we are not talking about like performance over here. We are just talking about learning. Of course, there are ways to improve all of that performance, and I just don't want to talk about it. But we can definitely talk about this later on. All right, so you can see now it has generated everything whatever it needed, right? And it is using conversation summary plugin. It is using recipe, shopping plugin, everything. It also has a lot of other like how to use DeepSeek with semantic kernel and all that, but I'll just ignore this for now. Let's go to the agentic part. So now we have got the other. Now we learned how to work with the semantic kernel. Now let's go to another agentic capabilities, and now we will try to run. For example, I'll first take you to the foundry agents one rather than this one. So in my foundry agent, not sure if anybody has seen this. So this is the Azure AI Foundry. If you go to ai.azure.com, it takes you to the Foundry project, and you can come over here and you can start working like whatever the Foundry agents you have. So this is my Foundry agents. I can come over here and I can start working with the agents. Whatever the agents I create over here, it will be created and it will be seen over here as well. If no one knows about it, we can revisit this at the end, but I'm just going to talk about from the code for now. However, there is a proper playground which you can use to do a lot of wonderful stuff. And like you can add knowledge, you can add actions, you can do a lot of other things as well. But this is not the topic of this talk, so we'll ignore it for now. Now, you have got an endpoint of the Foundry project. What I will do is I will try to run this. It will again download all of the packages which you see over here. And what it will do, it will try to delete any agent which it might have created. So it has deleted this agent which was created. So if I go back to my agents playground or my agents, it must have been deleted that. So now it has created another one, but that's fine. So now what we are going to do is I'm just going to load some functions. Again, you can read this later on, but our idea is that we are going to use Foundry agent service. So we have got a code for agent, which is going to use GPT-401. I will call it as a weather agent, and I will provide the description and instructions. And then I will say, hey, give me a weather. Now, of course, I'm not using any external weather service, so I've just asked it to just make it up for now, as you don't have to call any service. Now, what it is going to do, oh wow, what is happening? Every time you see something new, which is fine, no problem. We'll see if we can ignore this somehow. If not, then okay. Let's see. All right. Let's see if it runs or not. So every day they are trying to create something new, but that's okay. what I can do is I can go back to, I've got enough to show you, so don't worry about it. We can still restart this, because this yesterday I ran this and I knew that something they might be pushing. We'll try to see if we can go to the previous version, which is 1.63, and make it work. If we can, otherwise, not a problem. I've got enough to show you. We'll move forward to that point as well. But yeah, I can, and very quickly I'll change this. So please give me a few. Damn. Abstraction, kernel, and core. Abstraction, kernel, and core. Abstraction. Okay, so this is preview for sure. Okay, and rest of them are preview except for the top ones. So this is very important because unfortunately we need to do this. Now I will change it to 6.3 and see if it works or not. And if it does not, then don't worry, we can still do a lot of the things. So I'll rerun it and I will reload it and I will try to see if it works. Something is going on. Persistent. Persistent is saying that. Oh, okay. Just give me a minute. Sorry. So now let's see if it works. All right. So let's forget about this one first. Let's go to the other ones, which have, because we have got so many notebooks, so don't worry. Let's talk about multi-agent orchestration. So we have got, for example, same semantic kernel, but now you have got not one agent, but multiple agents, and how you would like to work with them. So let's talk about it. And first of all, we have got one agent, which is symptom agent. Then we have got diagnosis agent. Then we have got recommendation agent. What we are trying to do is we are trying to use a sequential orchestration for them. And within sequential orchestration, what is going on is that I'm trying to say that, hey, I've never had a sore throat, mild flu, blah, blah, blah. And what should we do? So if I show you that this one, so I'll show you the output as well for this, and then we'll talk about it. So now I've run it again, and what it is going to do, it is going to show us the whole history of our conversation, what it has done, and how did it come up with the recommendation. So you can see now the result is basically, could you tell me more about the symptoms you are experiencing, their duration, and any concern? This is the triage agent which is asking you. So what is happening? The sequential agent works in this manner that it takes one task from the agent, and the second agent takes the task from the first one, and the third agent takes the task from the above two agents. Now it has provided symptom, diagnosis, recommendation. Now the recommendation agent basically tries to give you the recommendation what it needs to do. So what I'm doing is I've provided my input and I've sent it to this orchestration, and recommendation agent basically is coming back and saying that, hey, I want more information. Um, if in any concerning size, this will help me better. But since this is just one turn conversation, not many turn conversation, otherwise you could see that how it has tried to analyze. So in general, if you have symptoms, it try to have a conversation like this, and then it is showing you all kinds of system collector information, and then it has tried to provide you the preliminary diagnosis information, how much token it has used. So everything, all the verbose or verbosity is there. Then we have got, so these are the patterns of how you would like the agents to work. This is a sequential pattern. This is a concurrent pattern. What it means that these two agents work side by side together and come up with an option with an option or with an action. I have charged twice for my last bill and needs this to be fixed as soon as possible. So let's see. We have got sentiment agent, topic agent, and urgency evaluator. These three agents work together and they come up with an output. How? So they work. The sentiment agent is working on its own, topic agent is working on its own, and agency evaluator agent is working on its own. Once they come up, the LLM combines the response and then it provides you. So you can see that the result has come up that sentiment was negative, topic was billing, and the urgency was high because I have provided like this. And I can say my notebook for the right now, if I say this, what it will do, it will try to detect this, that sentiment is negative, topic is technical support, urgency is medium, right? And you can see the whole conversation history or orchestration history, what it did to detect it. Now we have seen two patterns. This is the first time I have shown this to anyone. This notebook is also not available publicly yet, but we'll talk about this, at how you can get it as a token of joining this call later on. Anyway, so now we have got, imagine now we have got the group of agents with a manager, which is also an AI manager. And now what it will do, and it has got all the descriptions you can see over here. So what it will do, it has got food expert, destination expert, itinerary planner, and budget analyst. Over here, these four agents will work together, but there is going to be an AI manager which is going to be responsible for this. For us, I think it's the budget analyst. And then what it will try to do, that I've said that 3-day trip, vegetarian food, interested in arts and museum, budget is 1000. So now it will try to remain within that budget. And if I run this, what it is going to do is that it will try to work first all of the requirements. Don't worry about the code. Of course, you can have a look at the code when I'll share it with you. But what it is going to do, it is going to have a conversation back and forth. And once the conversation is done, for example, it says, and then it will say that approval is done. So you can define that when the approval result will come. For example, it will wait for a few minutes or seconds. It will run for 7 times. If it has reached 7 times, then that's it. It will not run more than that. It says, hey, so now there are different kinds of agents. Destination recommendation is Chicago, USA, blah, blah, blah. It is saying 3-day itinerary. It provides you all the itinerary. Then the budget breakdown says this is the budget breakdown. And if it gives you a wrong budget breakdowns, it just turns it to back that, hey, no, you are wrong. It should not be the case. Give me some other options. So if I try to run, let's try to work it around. So for example, I say 3-day trip, budget 2000, and 7-day trip or something like this, right? No fast food or something like this. And now it will try to do its own thing again. We will come back to it once the results are coming back. and because I need to give some time to you guys as well for the questions. We have got a lot of other capabilities as well. So as I said, that there is another agent which is for the ethical. So this is the same. Now it has come back to us. You can see that this time the response has come back and it is also approved, but it has given us Washington, DC, USA, and or the Spain, Madrid, and then it has provided us three options basically, and then it says that blah blah blah. So I think the approval is wrong because I need to switch the code because it still asks me what destination do you prefer. But anyway, we'll come back to that later on. The code is there. We can talk about this later on in a detailed manner. Okay, so this is the same stuff, but with just another use case. Over here, you as a human have been brought into loop. So you have to provide whether you approve it or not. So if I say reject, it will be rejected. And if I say approve, it will be approved. So the reason why I'm showing this is because the human capability or human in the loop is a very difficult problem, and it has been a difficult problem with multi-agents. But now semantic kernels solved that problem as well. So you can see that it gives us the marketing campaign slogan, everything. This was the marketing ethical and compliance review agent, which means that the marketing department generated an agent, generated a content, but ethical and compliance department had to review it. I being that department person, and I have approved it. And then we have got other capabilities as well, like very sophisticated capabilities. I'll leave this over here because I can give you the access to this and you can start working. Sorry, one more thing which I really wanted to show if it works is this one. Sorry, I may not be able to use this because I don't have an access to this. This is related to the finance one. So the one which we were talking about, financial analyst. So you can use code interpreter as a tool. I can talk about this at the end. But what it does is that, for example, and over here in this agent capability, you can see that I'm not just using semantic kernels agent, I'm using foundry agent and the chat completion agent. So these are three different types of agent with this different type of service. Unfortunately, I will have to log in as a different capability or as a different user, which I can't do it right now because I'm sharing my screen. So I'll have to switch it off, but I'll do that at the end. What it does that I'm giving it some data, like in my files over here, in my resources, a sales data. Against that sales data, it provides a very fancy chart. Let's try to see, because this chart and this, so this is the Python code which gets run into it. But what it does that it tries to come up and run it once the above code runs. But for now, I'll come back to it later on because I've got some exciting stuff to show you. All right, I'll minimize this and I'll also minimize this. Let's go. So I have got two terminals open, right? This is the one and this is the one. So this is front end, this is back end. So what is this? So let's go. I'll go to localhost 5173. This is multi-agent customer service. I'll come over here and I'll say my name is Arafat and my email address is this. And I will say I'm having a technical issue with my laptop, or I'm having a network issue in my laptop. I do not know what's wrong, but it never works. I have got a new machine and it does not connect to the internet. Okay, now what I'm going to do when I run this, you see this, it goes to front end desk, and then it directly goes to technical desk, and it goes to orchestrator, which responds back over here, right? I could come over here and say again, I did not get my refund. I bought a product, but it was defective. You charge a lot from me, and I want my refund back. So now it is going to front end, and now it is going to go to billing, right? And then it goes to orchestrator, and then it returns back. So if I go to the logs over here, sorry, let's go back first. Let's try to see it is, so this is the mock mode. Now let's go back, and you would be seeing that why even within a mock mode that it went to technical agent or billing agent, because even within a mock mode, which is my React application, I have put in some values that if it is related to technical, sends it to the technical one. Now let's try to see and make it combined issue. So I am not able to get refund, and there's a network issue with my system. I bought a product last week and I could not get any refund. In addition to this, I'm also having issues with my network firewall. Who will fix this? And if I now run, you will see that it is now going to processing. It is going to billing agent. And now it is, once it is done with the billing agent, then, oh, it did not go to the technical agent because it realized that it is just a billing issue. But if I go back now, you saw, you can see that it is going to, this was the customer name, this was the ticket number, it routed over here, and then it went back after the layer 3. So you can see that there is a layer 3, there is layer 2, layer 1. What is happening? So let's go. So I'll just minimize all of this stuff, close this. If I go to samples, you can see that there is something called A2A customer service. This is the whole code which is going on. This is the front end code. This is the back end code. I'll show you a little bit of code over here. So this is purely agent to agent communication happening. And it has got, like, we have got everything set up, whatever we wanted to keep as a part of agent to agent communication. What is agent to agent communication? This requires a separate talk, but for those who are interested in learning about by doing it, learning by doing it, you can just get this code, which I'll show at the end how you can get it. You will be able to work around it. However, if there's much interest in the chat, I'll try to give a very dedicated session on A2A, which is a very fantastic protocol to all use all of that. So this is one of the stuff which I wanted to show. The last and very least, which I wanted to show before I take the questions, this is something which I've been working on lately. I've not posted this anywhere because this is not going to be live soon. But since you have joined this talk, so I would like to really show you. There was a project of mine called ParkingGPT. So what I did in my some spare time, what I started doing, that I took this app to a front end app and made it a proper front end app with all of that stuff. And now if you go to canvpark.com, you can open it up on your mobile phone and try to see this as well. Let's see what is happening. Yep. So this is the app. You can take a photo. You can see whether if you are in Australia, it is going to help you a lot. However, it will work anywhere around the world. This is just one last fun bit which I would like to talk about. Now, how to get all of that stuff which I've shown you. So you go to github.com and go to github.com. This is the code which you will see over here. So there is a pull request open for my last agent to agent communication, but don't worry about it. It will be merged very soon. However, if you come over here and you see whatever I've shown you, it is going to be here. I have also got a deep research notebook as well, which I could not get a time to show you. This must be somewhere in Python. So if you go to Python, you will be able to see deep research agent. But yes, that's the code which I would like to show. I'll shut up now. I'll go to the questions and try to see what type of questions and what questions do we have. And apologies for the finance one. You can connect with me later on, and I can definitely have a conversation with you, help you with like how you can solve that problem. But code interpreter is the one which we will be using to solve that problem. Sorry, I thought that I would be having a lot of time, but I had so much to show that I couldn't finish it.
No, it was great. A great session, Arafat. I think that ParkingGPT one, that's definitely is going to be useful for a lot of people, especially in Australia, if they're going to CBD. Those signs, parking signs, normally is
Yes.
taking a couple of minutes to read from the top to the bottom of that. So I hope
Yeah, I
actually
just published this in the morning. This was when I was before going to work. I had to just finish a few things to that. It is now live, but I have not announced it anywhere on LinkedIn or somewhere. So this was just a last gift for your audience that they can try. How I built it and everything, I'll definitely be writing about it. So nothing is hidden. I am a strong, firm believer of sharing knowledge. So you'll definitely get to see that code as well. But A2A communication or A2A multi-agent customer service code is 100% live and for you to use. It has got a very strong README, so anyone even who has no knowledge of AI will be able to run that code.
Yeah, no, I think definitely is an interesting one. So we're gonna look at your GitHub that you shared, and it's great. I think you share it with others as well. So one question I can see in the chat from Sayed, which I'll bring it up on the screen. So you said, "Do we get this code to test and learn?" I think is before you showing that ParkingGPT. I think they are referring to your previous codes that you were actually
Yeah.
explaining.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. No. No. Definitely, you can whatever the code which I have shown you on my LinkedIn, on my GitHub. It has got a very sophisticated readme. So hopefully, I'm also sharing this on the comment section, so you can go try to use this. That is 100% free repo. You don't need to pay anything or something. It does not need it. You just need your own OpenAI key or something to use it. Otherwise, everything is there. You don't need to do anything.
Awesome. I brought it up on the screen in case if the people watching this record later, they can access to this URL that you shared in the chat. So great to have the link to your GitHub. Yeah, Pablo, just
And
thanking
yeah,
for your.
last thing I just wanted to mention that if anyone is interested, for example, in Azure AI Foundry, which for which the my notebook couldn't work and I couldn't get time as well, but happy to run another session if there is another other interest like in these things. So I'll be deep diving into like specifically into Azure AI Foundry agent service, which is a very sophisticated service. We are just doing it for one of the clients, so I can tell you that it has got a lot of power. And happy to share my learnings as well with the audience.
Oh, why not? Why not? Definitely, we would love actually to have you on the stage of Microsoft UA again. So why not? So just maybe one question, very high level type of question based on your experience in this industry. What do you think actually the agentic AI, what we can see these days is transforming HR, customer service, logistic operations, and a lot of other different industries in different manner. So what's your view in that transformation based on your experience that you had probably worked with some clients in different industries without naming them? So what's you actually seen in the industry from your perspective and where it goes from your as per your
From
insights?
the implementation side or your like usage or adoption.
Probably from both sides.
Yeah, so people are still reluctant. Not all the organizations are embracing this. Rather, they are talking more about it. But I would say that there are a lot of organizations who are talking more about it, but doing action a little bit, talking too much. However, whoever has got that tendency of adopting it by running small pieces, for example, small MVPs, they are seeing the difference. We started working, so I'm advising one of the startups called ITNox, and we with ITNox we are working with one of the government councils. That council was very adaptive in terms of AI capabilities, and we started going with them in a way that we would start small. If you think the value is there, then yes, go ahead. So start small and then scaling from that. This pattern, I have seen this a lot, and this is working. Coming from the learnings of by after implementing 5 or 6 small, you can say MVPs. I wouldn't say POCs, because anything that goes to production, it does not become a POC, it becomes a proper offering. So from the adoptability, and this is just Australian region, what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about the world. The technical capability, I think Microsoft's ecosystem is very strong in this, in addition to Google's, which I did not want to miss out as well. And so regardless of like whatever the language whatever the technology you use, my suggestion would be that if you really want to excel into this, then please start learning coding. Second, how to work with the agents. If any of your audience wants to have like thorough discussions about it, just write it down to you, like what kind of document or what type of talks do you want to see, and then we can have a discussion, and I can definitely come back again with a very uh, focused topic.
Yeah, no, I think it was an interesting actually insight that you have. So that's what we see actually in the market. There's a lot of AI projects in the proof of value, proof of concept getting actually failed.
Yeah.
High percentage of them. And normally we are saying, okay, don't use AI for the sake of AI. Just try to see what problem is going to solve that from that perspective.
Start with the problem, and put people first, problem first, rather than just technology first. I've seen so many failures so far, specifically from the big firms, that they just try to inject to get into the game, but it's not about the game, or it's not about your size of the company. It's about what kind of a problem you are solving. Like, there are so many which we can talk about, but I think we are 4 minutes over, so I don't want to hold the audience.
No, it's spot on. No, thanks again for your knowledge sharing. I think it was very useful. Always technical problems exist, and the live demo is never ending. So I'm totally sure everyone understand that. So thank you again for your time. And tonight, while you were on business trips, you tried actually to make it happen. That's really appreciative. So I hope actually you have a good trip and safe trip back to your home. And thank you everyone for joining tonight with us. Don't forget to follow us actually on the YouTube, LinkedIn, and everywhere. Definitely, we have that chance, fortunately, to have Arafat, maybe, who knows, next month is again on the stage with another interesting topic. Thank you again.
All right. Thanks all. Bye.